今回は Get Lost について解説をします。Hi everyone, it's Scott here from That's English School. この動画を見ると Get Lost の3つの意味と使い方がわかります。そして具体的に英会話でどういう風に使われているのかということもわかるので、ぜひ最後まで見ていってくださいね。ちなみに僕は普段英会話レッスン動画を、投稿してますので、ぜひチャンネル登録よろしくお願いします。ここからは英語で喋りますので、皆さん一緒に頑張りましょう。Okie dokie, let's get started with the first one, shall we? Part 1, Get Lost. So this is probably one of the most well-known uses of Get Lost. Now, a lot of my students love using the word become lost, become tired, become sleepy, become cold. In most cases, it's probably more natural to use the word get instead of become. We get lost, we get tired, we get sleepy, and we get cold. When do we use the word become? Well, it's often used with something with a little more weight behind it, such as he became a father, she became a doctor, she became the president of the USA. The pain became pretty intense. I became sleepy is not incorrect, but my advice in these everyday situations is just use get. Anyway, back to get lost. So similar expressions are lose your way, take a wrong turn, and lose your bearings. Here are some example sentences. I get lost a lot. I get lost easily. A girl got lost, and they're looking for her. I got lost, and I ended up in a rough neighborhood. If you get lost, ask a police officer for help. Sorry I'm late. I got lost. Don't get lost. As I said in my video about hoko onchi, I have a terrible sense of direction. So it reminds me of the time when I got lost in Boston, in Massachusetts in the USA, you know? So what happened? Back in the day, we didn't have Google Maps, or we just had a guidebook. And I was determined not to ask anyone for directions. Don't ask me why. Oh, you know what us men are like. We don't like to ask anyone for directions. So anyway, I spent about 2 hours looking for Harvard Square because I wanted to check out the Harvard University campus, just to have a look around. But you know, it's kind of fun getting lost sometimes. You end up in places where, well, basically you never expected you would end up. Let's have a little quiz. Now the question is, whenever I go to the big something something, I always end up getting lost. And the choices are A, place, B, dust, C, smoke, D, sticks. And the correct answer is C, smoke. Whenever I go to the big smoke, I always end up getting lost. So the big smoke basically means a big city. Traditionally, it referred to London in the UK, but it's used anywhere these days. The big smoke. Part 2. Get lost. Get lost. Get lost. Get lost. Get lost. The next meaning of get lost is not friendly at all. In fact, it's a really slang expression which can sound very rude and aggressive. You can hear this in the movies a lot. Some similar expressions are get out of here, scram, beat it, beat it, just beat it. Reminds me of the Michael Jackson song. Let's look at a few examples. A creepy guy kept trying to talk to me, so I told him to get lost. Stop bothering me. Get lost. You're fired. Get lost. Wow, can you imagine being in this situation? Wow, this lady doesn't look very kind. And this guy, he's sitting on the steps here. He's got all his possessions in one little box. This reminds me of the time when I was just chilling out at home and the doorbell rang. So this is in Japan, yeah? So I went outside to answer the door and there was this guy standing there in like a cheap looking suit and he was holding a file. And I thought, oh God, what's this guy trying to sell? And he asked me if I wanted to have my house painted. He offered me all these things like toilet paper and boxes of tissues. He stayed for about 20 minutes going on and on and on. In my mind, I really wanted to tell him to get lost. But I couldn't. I didn't get my house painted, by the way. Let's have another quiz. Question 2. A nasty little something something kept coming on to me in the bar. So I told him to get lost. And the choices are A. Creep, B. Creeper, C. Creepy, D. Crepe. And the answer is A. Creep. So a creep is just a horrible man. Not a nice person at all. And come on to means to kind of make sexual advances towards a person. I guess it's similar to nampa in Japanese, but a bit stronger. Number 3 is get lost in. Get lost in. Get lost in. Get lost in. This is when you almost forget where you are. You get so into the story, there could be a lion walking past and you wouldn't even notice. Some similar expressions are be immersed in or be absorbed in. Let's look at some examples. Get lost in a book. He's lost in his reading. Okay, technically, this one doesn't use get. You should find something to just get lost in. And you can get lost in your feelings. Now, the last book which I got completely lost in was this one here. It's Haruki Murakami's Killing Commendatore. I actually read it last year and I would start reading it in the morning and keep reading it all through the day, all through the evening, and even just before I went to bed at night. I just got completely lost in the magical world that he created. I wish I could write a book like this. Have you ever read it? It's really, really good. Fantastic. Can't put it down. It's time for another little quiz. Question 3. I love to something something up with a good book and just get lost in the story. And the choices are A. Go, B. Wake, C. Take, D. Curl. And the answer is D. Curl. I love to curl up with a good book and just get lost in the story. So to curl up with a book just means to relax on the sofa or in bed or in a nice, comfortable place and have a good old read. Fantastic. It's homework time. Okay, now, so this Japanese sentence right down here, I want you to change this sentence into English and put it in the comments down below. コメント欄のところに、英語で書いてください。Okay? ちゃんと後で見てますよ。Okay? チェックしますよ。Alright? ね。So, the sentence is 途中で迷っちゃったみたいだね。Okay? How do we say this in English? Okay? Good luck everyone and give it a go. So that's how we use get lost in English. There's 3 different ways. If you have any questions about today's video, please ask them in the comments down below. 何か聞きたいことがあったら、ぜひぜひコメント欄のところに何でも聞いてください。Okay? And the next video up is about giving directions in English. So just click over here and I'll see you over there. Thank you.